In 1999, after photographer William Chen's death, his family discovered old Polaroid photographs in his basement that revealed one of music history's greatest mysteries. Chen had documented Billie Holiday's final days at Metropolitan Hospital in 1959, but had kept these photographs secret for 40 years. The Polaroids showed mysterious visitors entering Lady Day's hospital room during those critical hours when she lay dying. While FBI agents waited at the door, unknown women were secretly entering. Most shocking of all were photographs showing some of the era's most famous figures by Billie's side in her final moments. Why did Chen hide these photographs for 40 years? And who were these mysterious visitors? These Polaroids would completely challenge the official story of Billie Holiday's death. If you want to learn the complete story of this 40-year secret and the mysterious visitors, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, because these photographs reveal a much more complex truth than the official account of Billie Holiday's final days. William Chen was one of Life magazine's most experienced photographers in July 1959. Chen had been working for the magazine for 15 years and had specialized in celebrity portrait photography. He had photographed many icons of his era, from Frank Sinatra to Marilyn Monroe. However, the assignment he received on July 15, 1959, would become the most challenging and mysterious mission of his career. Life magazine's editors had assigned Chen to conduct Billie Holiday's final interview at the hospital. Lady Day was hospitalized at Metropolitan Hospital, and her health was rapidly deteriorating. The magazine wanted Chen to handle the legendary singer's last interview for publication. Chen was aware of the assignment's sensitivity because Billie Holiday wasn't just a great artist but also a controversial figure under FBI surveillance. When Chen arrived at the hospital, he realized the situation was much more complex than expected. The third floor of Metropolitan Hospital had a much more tense atmosphere than a normal hospital environment. Men in suits were walking the corridors, and it was clear these were FBI agents. Chen had permission to take photographs, but the agents were closely monitoring his every move. When Chen first entered Billie Holiday's room number 12, he saw that Lady Day's condition was much worse than he had thought. Billie was weak and pale, but her eyes still held that familiar sparkle. Chen's intention was to take a few simple photographs and leave, but what he witnessed at the hospital would force him to stay much longer. While Chen was taking photographs in Billie's room, he noticed that despite the FBI agents waiting at the door, visitors were constantly coming to the room. This situation caught Chen's attention because hospital security was very tight and the visitor list was limited. The first to catch his attention was a middle-aged black woman who entered the room in the afternoon. The woman wasn't wearing nurse attire, but hospital staff didn't stop her. Chen was curious about the woman's identity and secretly took a few photographs. The woman was talking very intimately with Billie, holding her hand. Chen thought this woman might be Billie's family or close friend, but there was no such person on the official visitor list. The woman left after about half an hour, and Chen never learned her identity. Even more interesting was the second visitor who entered the room in the evening hours. This time it was a young, elegantly dressed woman. Chen didn't recognize her, but it was clear from the woman's demeanor that she was accustomed to this kind of situation. The FBI agents had seen the woman but hadn't stopped her. This situation increased Chen's suspicions because the agents were very strictly controlling normal visitors. Chen decided to use his Polaroid camera to document these mysterious visitors. The advantage of Polaroid was that the photographs developed immediately and no one would notice. Chen was curious about who these visitors were and why they weren't being blocked by the FBI. These questions led him to stay at the hospital longer and secretly take photographs. Another situation that caught Chen's attention was the behavior of the FBI agents. The agents were closely monitoring Billie's room but weren't intervening with certain visitors. This selective approach made Chen suspicious. Under normal circumstances, the FBI would strictly control the visitors of someone they were surveilling, like Billie Holiday. Particularly striking was when one of the agents approached Chen and told him he shouldn't be taking photographs. The agent had said some moments should remain private, and this statement seemed very strange to Chen. Chen had reminded him that he had official permission to photograph, but the agent was insistent. This situation created the feeling in Chen that much more important things were happening at the hospital. Chen also noticed that the agents were whispering among themselves and changing their positions when certain visitors arrived. It was as if they knew specific people were coming and were being careful not to disturb them. This behavior increased Chen's curiosity even more and encouraged him to take secret photographs. The strangest moment was when an agent told Chen, It would be in your best interest to forget what you see." This open threat both frightened Chen and made him more curious. He was no longer just conducting Billie Holiday's final interview, he was also investigating a much larger mystery. July 17, 1959 was the last day of Billie Holiday's life, and Chen was at the hospital documenting these critical moments. In the morning hours, Billie's condition had worsened further, but mysterious visitors continued to arrive. Chen obtained the most surprising photographs he took on this final day. The visitor who entered the room at noon shocked Chen. This person was one of the most famous jazz musicians of that era, but Chen refrained from giving names. The musician entered the room very carefully, and the FBI agents never stopped him. Chen thought this situation was very strange because it seemed impossible for such a famous figure to secretly enter the hospital. Even more surprising was another visitor who came in the afternoon. This person was also one of the recognized figures from the music world, and Chen immediately recognized him. It was clear that this visitor had a special relationship with Billie because he said goodbye to her very emotionally. Chen felt his hands trembling as he documented these moments with Polaroid. In the evening hours, the most mysterious visitor arrived. This was a very well-dressed, middle-aged woman whom Chen had never seen. The woman spoke to Billie not in English but in another language that Chen couldn't understand. Chen later realized this was French. Who was this woman, and what connection did she have to Billie Holiday? Chen would never find the answers to these questions. Chen took a total of 47 Polaroid photographs during those critical 3 days. These photographs showed people who, according to official records, shouldn't have been with Billie Holiday during her final days. Chen took the photographs very carefully and made sure no one noticed. The silent operation of the Polaroid camera made Chen's job easier. Additionally, the immediate development of the photographs allowed him to store them safely. Chen would hide each photograph as soon as he took it and write the date and time on it. This detail would help prove the photograph's authenticity years later. Chen's most valuable photographs showed the moments when Billie Holiday took her last breath. In these photographs, not only the people mentioned in official records were in the room, but also the mysterious visitors. Chen felt a great responsibility while taking these photographs because they were historical documents. When it came time to deliver the photographs to Life magazine, Chen made an unexpected decision. He only delivered a few simple photographs and kept the Polaroids hidden. Behind Chen's decision were the FBI's threats and concerns that what he had seen could be dangerous. He also thought that if these photographs fell into the wrong hands, they could endanger some people who were still alive at that time. Chen didn't talk to anyone about the Polaroid photographs for 40 years, from 1959. There were several reasons behind this long period of silence. First, the FBI's threats had greatly affected Chen. The agents had clearly told him that he should forget what he saw at the hospital, and Chen had taken this threat seriously. The second reason was the people who appeared in the photographs. Chen didn't know the identity of these people, but he understood that they were very important individuals. Publishing these photographs could endanger these people and their families. Chen didn't want to take such responsibility. The third reason was Chen's own career. Chen, who worked at a prestigious publication like Life magazine, thought that publishing such controversial photographs could harm his career. In that era, touching on such sensitive subjects could end photographers' careers. As the years passed, Chen tried to forget the photographs but couldn't succeed. Especially when new biographies and documentaries about Billie Holiday came out, he understood how important his own photographs were. However, he still didn't dare to share them. His most difficult moments were in the 1970s and 1980s, when false information about Billie Holiday's life was published. Chen knew that his own photographs could reveal the truth, but he still maintained his silence. This situation became a major source of guilt for him. In October 1999, William Chen died of a heart attack at age 84. Chen hadn't mentioned the photographs before his death, and the family was unaware of their existence. Chen's son Michael and daughter Sarah found an old box in the basement while cleaning the house after their father's death. Inside the box were 47 Polaroid photographs, notes with dates and times written on each, and explanatory letters prepared in Chen's handwriting. Michael Chen, seeing the first photographs, didn't understand what they meant. The photographs showed a hospital room, a sick woman lying in bed, and various visitors. Sarah Chen was more interested in music history and immediately recognized that the woman in the photographs was Billie Holiday. Their father had mentioned doing Billie Holiday's final interview, but had never spoken about the existence of these photographs. Sarah, examining the photographs, understood how important they were. Most surprising were the visitors seen in the photographs. Sarah and Michael recognized some faces, but didn't recognize most. In Father Chen's notes, there were clues about the identity of these people, but he hadn't given clear names.
Chen had written in his notes, "I'm not writing names for security reasons, but future generations should know the truth." When the family understood how sensitive these photographs were, they became uncertain about what to do. Publishing the photographs would create great interest, but could also be dangerous. They thought there was a reason for Chen's 40-year silence.
The Chen family consulted photography expert Dr. Robert Martinez to verify the authenticity of the photographs. Martinez was an academic who specialized in vintage photograph analysis, and the Chen family trusted him. When Martinez first saw the photographs, he immediately understood that they were original Polaroids. Technical analysis results confirmed that the photographs were from 1959. The chemical composition of the Polaroid film, the aging characteristics of the paper, and the color deterioration of the photographs all supported the 1959 date. Martinez also confirmed that the photographs were not montages or manipulations. More important was the analysis of the people appearing in the photographs. Martinez worked with physiognomy expert Dr. Linda Foster to examine the faces in the photographs. Foster said that some visitors resembled well-known people of that era, but didn't make definitive identifications. The most striking finding was the FBI agents visible in the photographs. Foster confirmed that these agents were real FBI personnel and had been stationed in New York in 1959 based on archival photographs. This situation was important evidence strengthening the authenticity of the photographs. Martinez and Foster stated that the photographs were very valuable from a music history perspective. Such detailed visual documentation of Billie Holiday's final days had never been found before. However, they also said that due to the sensitivity of the photographs, they needed to be shared carefully. After the authenticity of the photographs was confirmed, the Chen family focused on finding the identity of the mysterious visitors. For this research, they enlisted the help of music historian Dr. James Washington. Washington was an academic who specialized in Billie Holiday's life and knew the jazz scene of the 1950s very well. When Washington examined the photographs, he said he recognized some faces. He particularly identified that one visitor was a well-known musician who was in Billie Holiday's close circle during that period. However, Washington also added that according to official records, this person wasn't by Billie's side during her final days. More mysterious was the woman speaking French. Washington thought this woman might be from the French artist circles that Billie Holiday had met in Paris and become close friends with. It was known that Billie had formed friendships with many international artists during her European tours in the 1950s. The most interesting clue came from the young and elegantly dressed woman. Washington said this woman behaved very intimately with Billie in the photographs and was probably a family member or very close friend. However, no such person was mentioned in official records. The fact that FBI agents didn't interfere with some visitors also surprised the researchers. Washington stated that this could indicate that these people were under very high-level protection or had special agreements with the FBI. This situation proved that the visitors weren't ordinary people. According to official records, only a few close friends and hospital staff were with Billie Holiday during her final days. However, Chen's photographs showed that reality was much more complex. The number of visitors seen in the photographs was much greater than those in official records. The biggest difference was the presence of famous musicians. There was no information in official records about these people visiting Billie. Chen's photographs showed that the music world's respect for Billie Holiday was much deeper than the official narrative suggested. Another difference was the FBI's role. Official statements said the FBI was only at the hospital for security purposes. However, the photographs showed that agents gave special treatment to certain visitors and didn't interfere with some. The emotional moments seen in the photographs also weren't included in the official narrative. The fact that so many people came to say goodbye to Billie Holiday during her final days illuminated a lost chapter of music history. The most important difference was the people who were with Billie in her final moments. Besides the people mentioned in official records, the mysterious visitors seen in the photographs showed that Lady Day's social circle was much wider than thought. One of the most mysterious figures in Chen's photographs was the elegant woman who spoke French with Billie Holiday. This woman behaved very intimately with Billie in the photographs and was clearly experiencing an emotional farewell. In Chen's notes, this woman was referred to as Madame F. Researchers examined Billie Holiday's Paris connections to find this woman's identity. It was known that Billie had met many French artists during her European tours in 1954 and 1958. She had formed particularly close friendships with singers and musicians working in Parisian jazz clubs. The strongest clue came from singer Claudette Moreau, whom Billie had met during her 1958 Paris tour. Moreau wasn't the most famous jazz vocalist in Paris at that time, but she had become very close friends with Billie. A musical and personal bond had been established between the two women. Moreau's physical characteristics matched those of Madame F in the photographs. Additionally, there were records that Moreau was in America during the summer of 1959. This information strengthened the possibility that Madame F could be Claudette Moreau. However, verifying this theory was very difficult because Moreau had also died in the 1970s. Only Chen's photographs provided clues about this mysterious woman's identity. If it really was Moreau, this showed how strong Billie Holiday's international connections were. One of the most striking details in Chen's photographs was that FBI agents didn't interfere with some visitors while strictly controlling others. This selective approach showed that the agents had prior knowledge about these visitors. The entry of famous musicians into the hospital was particularly striking. Under normal circumstances, the FBI would control all visitors of someone they were surveilling, like Billie Holiday. However, in the photographs, some famous figures could be seen entering the room without being stopped at all. This situation suggested that the FBI had previously made agreements with these visitors or didn't see them as threats. Alternatively, it was possible that these people were under very high-level protection, and the FBI didn't have the authority to interfere with them. In Chen's notes, it was written that one of the agents had told him, "Some people are untouchable." This statement showed that even in that era, some people had a status that the FBI couldn't reach. The strangest situation was that agents changed their positions when certain visitors arrived. It was as if they were taking special precautions to prevent these people's identities from being revealed. This behavior was a situation that Chen also noticed and photographed. Chen's photographs showed that the music world's support for Billie Holiday was much stronger than the official narrative suggested. In an America where racism and social pressure were very intense during that period, it was risky for white musicians to openly support a black artist. The famous figures seen in the photographs had taken this risk to visit Billie. This situation showed that there was a secret solidarity network against racial discrimination in the music world. Although this solidarity wasn't reflected in public opinion, it created a strong bond among artists, especially among jazz musicians. Respect for Billie Holiday was very deep. Lady Day wasn't just a great artist, but also a figure who pioneered social change with bold songs like Strange Fruit. Therefore, musicians considered supporting her an honor. The emotional farewells seen in Chen's photographs showed how sincere this respect was. The visitors hadn't come just out of etiquette. They really loved Billie and wanted to say goodbye to her. This secret solidarity illuminated a lost chapter of music history. These friendships and bonds that weren't included in official records helped us better understand the social dynamics of that era. Among the documents found by Chen's family were also notes showing his regret about the decision to hide the photographs. Especially as he aged, Chen better understood how important these photographs were for history. In a note from 1985, Chen wrote, "I've been hiding these photographs for 25 years. Maybe I'm making a mistake. Billie Holiday's real story should be told." This note showed that Chen was experiencing a moral conflict. In another note, Chen said, "The FBI's threats seemed very frightening at that time, but now I'm an old man. Maybe it's time to tell the truth." However, Chen never put these thoughts into action. The most emotional note was the final message Chen wrote a few years before his death. "These photographs will die as my secret, but maybe someone will find them and tell Billie Holiday's real story." That wonderful woman deserves to be remembered not only for her music, but also for her humanity. Chen's final notes explained why he hid the photographs and why he didn't share them. Fear, sense of responsibility, and moral conflict were the real reasons behind his 40-year silence. The Chen family consulted Professor Dr. Margaret Thompson, a music historian from Columbia University, to understand the academic value of the photographs. Thompson was an academic who specialized in Billie Holiday and had written many articles about her life. Thompson was very excited when she saw the photographs. These photographs contained previously unseen information about Billie Holiday's final days. Especially the diversity of visitors and the FBI's behavior provided new insights about that period. According to Thompson, the most important finding was the music world's support for Billie. This support wasn't included in official records because such solidarity was considered risky during that period. Chen's photographs proved the existence of this secret solidarity. Academically, the most valuable aspect was that the photographs served as social history documents. They provided new information about racism, the music industry, and FBI surveillance in 1950s America. Thompson stated that the photographs needed to be shared carefully, but should definitely be used in academic research. These photographs were important enough to require rewriting Billie Holiday biographies. In 2010, the Chen family decided to have the photographs reanalyzed with modern technology. Digital restoration expert Dr. Kevin Park scanned the photographs in high resolution, providing more detailed examination opportunities. Modern analysis results revealed previously unnoticed details. Especially the facial features of visitors became clearer, and identification became easier. Thanks to Park's work, the identity of some mysterious visitors was clarified. The most important discovery came from details visible in the background of the photographs. Personal belongings in the hospital room, gifts brought by visitors, and documents on the wall provided new information about Billie's final days. Thanks to digital enhancement techniques, some faded writings in Chen's notes also became readable. These notes contained more detailed information about visitors and helped with identification. The most striking finding was the identification of the FBI agents' identities. Using facial recognition technology, it became possible to find the real identities of the agents in the photographs. This situation provided new information about the FBI's operations during that period. The Polaroid photographs that William Chen hid for 40 years completely challenged the official story surrounding Billie Holiday's death and illuminated a lost chapter of music history. These photographs showed that Lady Day's final days were much more complex and emotional than previously thought. The most important discovery was the music world's secret support for Billie Holiday. In the difficult social conditions of that era, the solidarity and love among artists wasn't reflected in official records. Chen's photographs proved the existence of these secret bonds, bringing a new perspective to music history. The FBI's role was also re-evaluated. The agent's selective approach and special treatment of some visitors raised new questions about the power dynamics of that era. This situation helped us better understand the complex relationship between art and politics. Chen's 40-year silence showed the effect of individual fear and social pressure on artists. Chen tried to protect himself by hiding the photographs but at the same time caused the loss of historical documents. This story taught us how valuable lost moments in art history are, and how careful we need to be to preserve them. William Chen's Polaroids are not just photographs but historical documents that bear witness to an era.